You might remember on my last stream, I told you all the story of Dr. Rafat al-Arir, okay? Now, Dr. Rafat al-Arir was a very brave voice, academic, writer, commentator who lived in Gaza, okay? And I never talked to him personally, but I've watched his, his conversations with Max Blumenthal, with the Electronic Intifada. In fact, his last words that were publicly spoken about the occupation and their bombings were so sad. He was talking about that we are hopeless for our situation, but we'll never give up, okay? What more do you want? Okay, these people cannot be broken in Gaza. And as he was making this statement, you could hear the bombs falling from overhead nearby. So, Dr. Rafat al-Arir was sadly murdered by the Zionist regime just last week. And there was a lot of speculation as to how this unfolded, because of course he's one of the leading academics in Gaza. He's a very outspoken and brave voice. Well, now we have the details as to how this unfolded, and we actually have proof that this was a targeted attack against him and his family, because they were trying to kill off not just all Gazans, but also they want to target the people who are the most outspoken, intellectual, academic voices in Gaza, because they recognize that these are voices that could change public opinion, okay? Take a look at this post from Max Blumenthal, who's a friend of Dr. Rafat al-Arir. A friend of Rafat al-Arir told Euromaidan, or is that what... Euromed? Euromed. So, a friend of Dr. Rafat al-Arir told Euromed Human Rights that, quote, he received an anonymous phone call from someone who identified himself as an Israeli officer and threatened Rafat that they knew precisely the school where he was located and were about to get to his location with the advancement of Israeli ground troops. According to Euromed's post, he then returned to his sister's apartment to avoid endangering others in the school shelter. There he was killed by a surgical strike by the Israeli military. So what's clear is they not only wanted to kill him at the school, they knew he was at the school, he was at the school, they were going to go there and kill him, but they also wanted to bomb his family, okay? In the weeks leading up to his murder, Rafat received a long series of direct messages from Israeli soldiers and pro-Israel fanatics promising to kill him and torture his family. The wave of death threats was inspired by neocon pundit Barry Weiss, who is a very, very notorious Zionist, okay? And the editor of The Free Press. The Free Press! We support free speech at the Free Press, but if you try to expose our Zionist propaganda, I'm gonna have the IDF airstrike you. So, the wave of death threats was inspired by Barry Weiss, who took to Twitter to falsely accuse Rafat of mocking a Jewish baby who had been baked in an oven by Hamas. Of course, no Jewish baby was killed in this way on October 7th. Haaretz has even admitted this, which is Israeli state media. It was one of the many macabre fabrications which Israeli forces have reenacted in their genocidal rampage of vengeance against the population of Gaza. Israel has a long tradition of assassinating Palestinian intellectuals. Before Rafat, there was Ghassan Kanafani. But if this crime was inspired by a sarcastic tweet, it evinces a new layer of sadism and psychological insecurity. Indeed, if the Euromed report is valid, it appears Israel hunted down an internationally known academic and murdered him along with his family because it couldn't take a joke. Rest in peace to Dr. Rafat al-Arir. And that is exactly what it appears that we've now witnessed. That he made a tweet about outrageous Zionist propaganda, and because of that, the Zionists airstriked him, his wife, and his kids as well. And to think, Benjamin Netanyahu last week said that it was anti-Semitic if the International Criminal Court investigates Israel for war crimes.